Hello, everyone, and welcome back to ESC United. We do have another Eurovision interview here, and I am joined with the Polish representative for this year. It is Ochman. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How about you?
Good, 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 good. Like we were talking about earlier, it's an early morning, but the one thing I love about Eurovision is doing these interviews. So y'all really give me the energy I need to make it through these early mornings here in America. But I wanted to ask you because I know that you have done your first rehearsal. It just happened pretty much. How did first rehearsals go for you?
I'd say it went well. I don't want to get ahead of myself and get too comfortable because there are some things that need to be fixed, and we're gonna kind of accommodate that at the second rehearsal. But in general, I'm pretty happy with the way it's going. We're on the right path with the team. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic, and yeah, hopefully it'll be the way that I imagined it.
Right. Well, and I think that's the thing with Eurovision is that, the first rehearsals are always just getting the artist accustomed to the stage, figuring out, what cameras you're looking at and when they come across. Like it's just figuring out the logistics of everything. I think the second rehearsal is what really matters, is because that's when it's like, okay, let's find what's not working and we have to really fix this.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have three rehearsals, and I like to be kind of prepared earlier. So for the last rehearsal, it's just do it as it is and practice the final product a few times to kind of get used to it and not go out on stage and try the final product for the first time. So I'm hoping that the second rehearsal is going to go well enough that the only things that will be left is to just focus on the whole environment and just do it as well as possible, knowing exactly where to look, what to do, and how it's going to look.
Yeah, well, and specifically thinking about kind of that, having everything kind of put together before you go on stage. I do know that obviously you were on the Voice of Poland. You went through that show and you went on to win the show. Do you feel like having a little bit of a background in kind of like the TV realm of a competition, does that kind of help you in the preparation for Eurovision, or is this like a whole new ballpark?
I'd say that it's helped me in some spots. Obviously, I mean the whole the interview aspect of it, or let's say like promotional side. Sort of like I wouldn't say that I'm the best at recording myself and being like, hey, I'm Ochman, listen to this song, blah blah blah. I'm not the best at that, but it's definitely become easier over time, and having that sort of experience definitely makes me feel more comfortable in a place like this. It's different. It's still different, but I'd still say that it has sort of reality TV aspects to it. So it's comparable, but it's different. But yeah, I'm kind of just still getting used to some of it.
Sure, sure. Well, and I also wanted to ask you, similar in the similar vein of talking about the voice of Poland, when you auditioned for that show, did you think that after winning, your career would skyrocket and then you'd end up at Eurovision in a couple of years?
No, I never really thought of it. After I won The Voice, I started to get questions about whether or not I'd like to do Eurovision, and I kind of always gave the same answer. I'd say that I don't know if I'm mentally or vocalistically prepared for an occasion like that. To be honest, I mean, I was born in the U.S. and my group of friends and my family we didn't really follow Eurovision. And then when I moved to Poland to study about 4.5 years ago, I was kind of in a different world. I was studying classical music, and I kind of had my whole focus on that. So I still wasn't really following it. And started following it about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I'm glad I did, but but I mean, it's nice to be a part of it. But no, I definitely didn't think that I would do it. It was kind of a spontaneous decision. It's kind of last minute. I didn't have a lot of time out deadline sent out the demo for the national final to get to Eurovision. And my family kind of pushed me towards that to just try. I mean, never know if I don't try. I thought to myself, why not? But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's great advice. If you never put yourself out there as a candidate, you never really know if it could be something. If you're like, "Oh, well, I'm just not cut out for Eurovision. I'm never going to submit a song." You may never go to Eurovision because obviously you're the one stopping yourself from going. So I think that's sound advice. And I mean, obviously it worked out because I mean, here we are doing this interview, and you're there in Turin. So clearly something worked from your song in the national final. But I did want to follow up with that question. So obviously your song in the national final won. It's been very popular with the Eurovision fans across the world. Polish fans are very popular. When you submitted the song, did you also think like, wow, this is going to be a song that so many people are going to love and talk about and want to see or can't wait to see in Turin?
Not really. What the whole process of writing the song, we had one thing in mind, and that was to give this sort of Eurovisional vibe to it, so that it could fit, you know. But no, I didn't really expect to have so many people appreciate it, and I definitely feel this immense gratitude that so many people do. I'll be honest, I used to do musicals. I respect every genre of music. I'll listen to every genre of music. I feel like every style of music has something to offer, and then there are good songs and bad songs. But I try to mix my voice with beats and sort of more trap, and I'm trying to do more of that. So Eurovision was also a step sort of in a different direction to try it out. Not different than like anything that I've done, but definitely still something new. If I had a little more time on the song, I feel like the song would probably sound a little different. But because we didn't have a lot of time, we had a deadline. It sounds the way it does. I'm still proud of the song, but I've definitely listened to it countless times. I think I need a break from it.
Well, and that's fair because I know that you've also been doing the pre-party circuit before you got to Turin. Now that you're in Turin, I'm sure that you're running that song multiple times in your hotel room, on the stage, and things like that. I mean, I can understand how you're like, wow, I know this song in and out.
Well, I mean, I separate my work, my job is to go on stage and to sing and perform and have try to make everybody who's listening and watching feel what I'm feeling on stage. So that part of it doesn't bother me at all. So when I go up on stage and I sing something, nothing else matters in that moment. And I can sing song, countless times, but it's I'm gonna always try to like give it my all. I don't want to sound cliche, but try to feel it as much as possible and not have the quality go down because I'm not into it as much as the beginning. It's more like hearing the song around a lot and before Eurovision when I released the song, I was also hearing it around a lot. So I know for artists, it can be pretty bothersome sometimes. But yeah, I kind of separate the two. It's just when I go up on stage, nothing else matters, and I enjoy what I'm doing. So I try to just feel it the way I'm supposed to.
Very nice. Well, I want to take this next question in a little bit of a different direction. For our listeners, even those who like have been following you since either pre-national final in Poland or since national final, what would be something that they would be surprised to learn about you? Like a hobby, talent, interest, something that is just like, hey, this is something about me that you didn't know.
Uh, that's it's probably a lot of things that people don't know about me, but I don't know if it's anything that would be really that interesting. I don't know. I used to be a swimmer. I played soccer. It's kind of a sports buff. I'm really into astronomy. I used to want to study pre-law, but I can't keep my nose in front of a book for for that long. I like to read, but not to that extent. Let's say what else? I used to do fencing. Uh, I used to wear an eye patch. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know what else. There's not too many things that are just I don't know.
Hey, that's a lot of fun facts. So I'll take it. I mean, I would not have pegged you for a fencer, but I mean, hey, there. I think. I mean, like, when you're thinking about like other sports, like American football, you're like, oh, okay, that person looks like they probably play football. I don't know if there's like a type of like, oh, that looks like a fencer person. Like, they just look like normal
Yeah,
people. So.
I don't really think so. Yeah, you can't really spot the fencers, but yeah, the ones that do it are really really into it. Actually, I have a good family friend and she's she competes in fencing. So she started even around the time that I started, but she just completely superseded us. She went levels above, and yeah, she's amazing at it. She's really into it. So I don't know, it's a very interesting sport, and I like doing it. Just it's been a while since I've done it. So
Mhm. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I also wanted to ask you. I mean, I know that we've kind of talked a little bit about your Eurovision song here, but I want to talk to you specifically about the writing team because I know, and I'm gonna try super hard. I do not speak Polish natively, but Mikol Trybulek, is that close?
Tribulec, Mikołaj.
Okay, I tried. I tried real hard. The other
It's all
one's
good. You
easier
were
because
very
it's
close.
It's Ashley Hicklum. I can do that one. But I know that they have a fair number of Eurovision entries that they've written prior to this one. So how did you end up kind of working together with this team?
It was more my manager, my I guess how do you say it? My song, not song manager. I'm not sure how to say it, but I know how to say it in Polish. Manager od wytwórni. It's a guy that kind of oversees my work on in the studio albums and stuff like that. So he takes care of that, and usually he'll pair me up with some producers. Obviously, I have a say in it. I can ask for somebody, but I wasn't conscious of who they were earlier because I never worked with them. I didn't even know that Ashlyn worked on Eurovision songs earlier, but it was nice to work with him. There was also Adam Wisniewski, who's a producer that I worked on with almost half my first album that I released in November. So it was a pretty big team, and we all worked on it, slowly but surely, but it came to us in a day or two. Yeah, they had a lot of good ideas. It was a fun time to work. They listened to my propositions, suggestions, and I listened to theirs, and we created something.
Yeah. And with your song specifically, what message are you hoping that that song is going to send to the Eurovision audience abroad?
Well, I'm gonna leave the interpretation individually, like for everybody to just interpret it as they would like. I mean, that's fine. I think that's most of what music is about, that you get to interpret it in your own way, what speaks to you the most, through the song. But, what I had in mind when I was writing it and when I wrote it, it was what the song's about is, the fact that I feel like a lot of people my age and not only my age, obviously, sorry, the camera turned off below. I feel like a lot of people my age, but not only my age, they tend to like tirelessly plan a future that's uncertain. I feel like we're more afraid of what we don't know rather than what we know. And since the future is uncertain, it becomes pretty congesting. Gets pretty noisy because we want it to turn out as well as possible. We're just unsure. So the song is kind of about just getting to this moment of inner peace. Take a moment, take a breather, and take a step back, and then get back to work. But those moments, those little moments that we can enjoy, are really really important. River kind of it's universal, and it goes in waves. It's very unpredictable. It's calm at one moment. It can be destructive in the next. So it's kind of how life is, to put it, in general terms and make it cliche. So yeah, I wanted to make it so universal, so a bunch of people can, in some sort of way, relate to it, but give it a slightly deeper connotation.
Nice. Well, I think that that's a beautiful kind of way to put that message. And I know, obviously, this song. I mean, you've been working on this for so long and singing it and everything. So I know the song is personal. But one of the questions I love to ask the most at Eurovision is, if I asked you, if we were going to say River is no longer your Eurovision entry, and you had to pick a different song from any of the other 39 songs that are there in Turin, whose song would you be performing instead and why?
I probably there are a lot of good songs, though. Trying to think what would I feel like I'd probably go for Not the Same, Sheldon Riley song. It's from Australia. Uh, it's a ballad, and it's a very emotional song. It's very hard to sing, but I feel like I'd be up for the task. Um, yeah, when you listen to him, he's a phenomenal singer, and what he does with his voice during the song, you really feel it. It touches your soul. So it's probably an effect that I'd like to have. Yeah, probably that song.
Okay. Well, and then I have one final question for you. Is there a final message that you have for our listeners at ESC United? Anything you want to share with them?
Uh, Maybe not share anything in particular, but I wanted to just greet you guys and say hi to all of you, and I hope to make you guys proud in Turin.
Perfect. Well, we want to thank you so much. Of course, I want to be mindful of your time. I know that you have a long day of press ahead of you, so I want to give
It's
you
all
some
good.
time and space to decompress. But thank you so much for spending some time with us and giving this time to interview and everything. For those who are watching, make sure that you subscribe, you like, hit that notification bell for our channel. But also at the same time, make sure that you go and you follow Ochman on his social media, Spotify, iTunes, all of those little plugs. Make sure you support his career, and then also make sure that you tune
You
into
don't
the
have to, but
semifinals.
it'd be nice.
I mean, I'm telling them that they have to, so they'll listen to
Okay,
me.
okay.
But then again, make sure that you tune into those semifinals so that you can also support him in that semifinal and see that beautiful performance of River. But with that, I'm going to leave you all with a great old goodbye, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks
Bye.
for having me.